Hello, hello, hello out there. It is so good to see you all and be back after a week sort of hiatus. I had to cancel last week, and to be fully transparent, I was in so much pain that I was wincing my face around like that. And on top of that, I had a deadline for two papers, not one, count them two papers for my doctoral program. And I'm happy to tell you that I finished with a B plus. I'm used to A's, but a B plus, well, we can work with that. We can work with that. So I appreciate your coming back this week. It is so good to see you. And so let's talk about a few little things. I don't know. I think most of you know by now that I am a therapist and a coach, and I am also an artist. So I'm excited tonight to bring a guest who I actually had the gift to meet. I believe it goes all the way back to like 2010 when I was asked by an agency that I was working with. Shout out to, let's see, connections, something connections. Yeah, connections mental health, I think. And so, or mental health connections, I'm not sure, but they are all the way out in Baldwin Park. And I was selected to go to this training at a place called A Window Between Worlds. And I cannot tell you what a joy it was to be there. It was a joy, but at the same time, we were all crying and snotting around because there's so much healing that actually happened in the room. And so tonight, I am bringing to you all the director of training and outreach. So let me tell you a little bit about Miss Christy Turek Rials. Christy directs all aspects of the A Window Between Worlds, which is AWBW, live and on-demand trauma-informed art facilitation trainings and outreach initiatives. She began her work with AWBW as a trained program facilitator at the YWCA of San Gabriel's. And she was there working in outreach and their shelter programs. She has also facilitated groups with incarcerated survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and other forms of trauma. Christy deeply believes in seeing the light in all people and environments, striving to create a world with healing and equity for all. She lives this personal mission in her work as a trainer and art workshop facilitator by supporting others in utilizing creative expression to connect to their resilience and to practice self-care. Y'all know, you know, we're big on self-care here. So without another word from me, please welcome to Boss Talk, Christy Rials. Hey, Christy.
Hello,
Woo.
Shama Ray, and fabulous folks out there in the ether world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Out there, y'all in cyberspace. So I'm so excited to have you on. And listen, thank you for rolling with us, sister, because I know we had to cancel last week, and we actually had to cancel one other time, I'm sad to say, because I messed up my schedule. And so I thank you for your just willingness to roll. You are the best.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm all about the universe. Just, it puts us on a certain path and puts forward the timing. And maybe it's not the timing that we wanted or that we thought was what was supposed to happen, but we'll figure out that divine wisdom at some point. It'll be revealed to us. So it was meant to be today.
Yes, exactly. Well, speaking of the universe making decisions, sometimes we don't like them. So I have to share that you all know that tomorrow, Friday, is tomorrow Friday? Okay, no,
Thursday.
2 days from now, Friday, I was scheduled to have back surgery, a pretty major back surgery. And after working early this week, I did all my pre-ops this week, and I was all ready to go. I had one more test to take for pre-op today, and this morning at 9:21, I got a phone call from the doctor's capable assistant, Erica, telling me that we had to reschedule my surgery. And the reason for that is because I had a back surgery in 2003, and the the facility no longer had my records, and they need the op notes. The current surgeons need the op notes so they can find out what screwdrivers they used to install the titanium hardware in my body. Y'all didn't know I was the bionic woman. And so as a result of that, because they don't want to go in and then not be able to get them out to do the surgery that they need to do this time. So I cried. I really did, because I was so ready. I thought I was so ready to do this, and I've been in a lot of pain this last couple weeks, but don't feel bad for me. I had fun getting there. I was dancing. And so but I guess it was God just saying it's really time to do the surgery. However, not today or not this Friday. So I'm rolling with it. And Christy, thank you for saying that, because everyone has been reminding me of that truth, that it's all about God, the universe, whoever you call a higher power. It's all about source energy and their decision.
Yes, the divine timing. And I will give a shout out to crying, because we get a lot of negative, connotations to crying. We get a lot of, don't cry, stop crying, all of this. Crying is fantastic. There's actually a great TikTok I watched from this man who was sharing about how people are like, well, you need to do something about it. Why are you crying? And he talked about how crying is doing something. And when we cry, we release the stress hormone cortisol. So I always like to think when I'm crying, I'm multitasking. I'm releasing the stress hormone cortisol. I'm getting that out of my body, because it's all about, like, right, especially as us as service providers, we take in a lot. We take in a lot of energy. We take in a lot of experiences, a lot of stories, and vicarious trauma is real. And with that volume coming in, we got to get it out. And whether we release it through tapping or movement or dance or crying, it's all releasing that from our body, which is so important, because we need to be able to release that to make room for the good stuff. Otherwise, it just gets trapped in there, and we're in these negativity.
Yes, I love it. You are so right. Oh, thank you for sharing that. So, Christy, speaking of service providers, and hi, CB Lifer. Hello, darling. Thank you for tuning in. So, do you know her? Is that one of your friends?
Is that one of your friends? Actually, CB's a long-term volunteer for Windows, and also a dear friend, and also a light bringer, as I like to say. She is in the Don Miguel Ruiz realm of the 4 agreements. She is a huge light bringer, as are you as well. So we are all in great company.
She said, sister. I love it. I love it. We're going to put that one up. I like it. I
love it.
Well, so I want to ask, how did you get in this whole service provider thing? How did you get involved?
Yeah, great question. So I always want to do my Golden Girls. Picture it, Sicily. Okay, so picture it. I'm in college. This is back in the year 2003. Many moves. Yes, same year that you had your first surgery, right? Yes. Yeah. Look at that. Some years.
We both were doing big things,
right? So year, and they were like, you need to do an internship. And so I was like, okay, so let me try and find some internships. And so, but I was commuting for my school, and I only found one internship that was close to where I lived. And it was actually like pretty much down the street. And it was a domestic violence service provider. And I'm my identical twin. And it just so happened my twin sister had done an internship at a domestic violence service provider in Santa Barbara. And I was like, and I did one of their fundraisers. It was fabulous. And I was like, well, let me just apply for this internship. So sure enough, I got it. And I had the most miraculous experience of right when I finished my college, my then intern supervisor said, are you looking for employment? And I said, indeed I am. Isn't everybody? And I had already given my parents the spiel, like, because, they're old school. So they're like thinking you're going to get a degree in psychology, your bachelor degree, and you're going to get like a job and all this money. And I was like, look, like, it doesn't mean all that much nowadays. Like, I don't have a big pot of gold. I'm not like an engineering degree or some jazz. So it's like, I kind of had already prefaced them, like, I don't know if I'm going to get another I don't know if I'm going to get a job here. But I did, and I was there for a bit of time and actually got to participate in the art workshops. The Window Between Worlds program was already there. There was another staff member who was a trained facilitator, and I sat in on the groups and participated. That's something we always encourage, is whether you're a client or somebody who signed up to receive services, or you're a service provider, like when you're in the art group, it's all equal. There's nobody who's telling folks what to do and not also participate. We really encourage, like, this is for everybody. And truly, I mean, whether you're the person that's there to get services or they're the one that's there to give them, we've all experienced stuff. I mean, if you're working with domestic and sexual violence service providers, you didn't get into it for the money, people. There's no money in it. We got our heart and soul, and because we probably had some kind of a background. Did we have the resources to heal from that background? Maybe. Probably not, maybe some, but not wholly. So this, I love this site. It's this ongoing where we're all constantly healing and growing together.
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, Christy. I love that story. And you know what's funny? I love the parallels, as I know you do too. But you got into a Window Between Worlds through an internship.
Yes.
And so did I. I was an intern. Well, they call them associates now. But back in the day, we were called interns, and I was an intern at the Connections facility, and they are the ones that sent me over to do this amazing training. And so, destiny, here we are. And also, with that whole, I don't think I can get a job, because my daddy was like, I had won a beauty pageant, went to Europe, sang in Europe, come on back now, and my daddy's like, do you think you can get a job? And I was like, he was like, well, I'm gonna need you to check. So my mom was like, well, honey, do your best. And daggone it, right out the gate, I got hired. So there you have it.
There we go.
I got fired from that one because I get fired from all these places. That's why I have my own business now. Nobody can fire me but me.
Right. And hey, empowerment. I love it.
Yes. Yes.
And that's my husband right there.
I thought so. Hello, Paul. Thank you for tuning in. That's such a sweetheart there. Oh, Paul, so glad you were able to be here too. And who else is there? Connie, the comeback queen, aka Connie Q. I used to be bionic as well. The surgery was postponed. Yeah, I know. We're just gonna just put it to God, knowing something better, right? Mm-hmm. That's all we can do. But I sure looking forward to it, honestly.
We just don't know it yet.
Oh, hey, Gigi. She says, excited to hear more. I have used art in my personality temperament workshops through the years. Yes. So Gwendolyn is a member of the organization and my mentor in that organization of the Black Women's Network, of which I am the president. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm the eternal president, but anyway. And Gwendolyn she also does mindfulness work, but she does, personality trainings. Let me see if I get this right. Personality trainings using MBTI science, and she does it with the colors. And it's so awesome. And she actually helped me out with my first big event, which was called The Woman in Me. And we did her. First of all, we did a paint and sip. Okay, let's be.
Absolutely.
We did a paint and sip, and the woman was like a mindfulness MSW, and so it was fabulous. And then we cleaned up. We had breakfast, by the way, and then we cleaned up. And we started, I think we had lunch. And then we started out with Gwendolyn doing the personality program. And then my friend Sydney, who's an amazing singer and an artist, she does a thing called voice body technique. And so she teaches you how to use your voice to command respect, attention. So it's for singers, it's for actors, it's for mamas, it's for teachers. And so she did something on that. And then I did a thing on resilience, and it was fabulous. And then COVID happened and we get to do it again. But so let's say hi to some more people. And then Christy, I got some more stuff to say.
Oh, that's
hi. Cascade and Kyle de Pierre. Oh, I like it French.
Aren't they fabulous? Some of my best friends. Oh, fabulous. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Naila out of the ATL. So good to see you, darling. Empowerment. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And
And such wonderful energy. Thank you. Go ahead, Christy. You were going to say
yeah, when you were
something?
talking about your friend with the voice and connecting to your voice and your power, that actually reminds me, I took a self-defense class, and the most powerful experience that I had at the self-defense class was the instructor telling us, he had us practice just screaming and like guttural, like letting it all go and not even thinking about it. And what he said was they did a study of folks that where there was an attempted sexual assault and a completed sexual
Mhm.
assault. And the main difference was the folks that were, it was an attempt, but it wasn't actually, they weren't able to complete it, was they were able to access their rage. And we know with neurobiology and trauma, right, we automatically in our brains, we go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? Well, I'm a freezer. That doesn't
Mhm.
bode very well when you're trying to protect yourself from being assaulted.
Hello.
So, me having that experience of being able to connect to my rage and scream it was life changing, and it was so empowering, because I mean, I've even had dreams where like assaults were occurring and I literally couldn't speak, because I've been in those situations in real life where it's like they call it like
Mhm.
playing possum, because it's a, they call it tonic immobility, where you literally cannot move. And so
Mm.
it doesn't bode well when you're, in
Yeah,
this,
hello.
somebody's already, taking control over your physical self. And so it was so darned empowering. And I
Wow.
did breath work and we did some scream work at this wonderful BIPOC festival that I was at. That was like
Ooh,
amazing. I was like vibrating after, and they're just like had us just in unison all scream. It was amazing. So that there's a
where
lot
was
to that.
this, for heaven's sakes? I needed to know. Or I'll maybe the next one. Where was this?
Oh, it was amazing. It was actually this place called the Beehive in LA, which I just was reading about. It's this gentleman, I believe from Nigeria, who's now doing so. Basically, we know with a nonprofit industrial complex, are tasked to solve a lot of things, and they're not being solved. And so
Hello. Mhm.
basically, this gentleman was like all of these things that are put in place are not solving the housing crisis. So he's like, and the model doesn't work. And so the model is we get federal funding and then all of this, but with that, there's so many parameters. So he did private fundraising, and
Mhm.
so it is now building and revamping all of these wonderful areas in Los Angeles that had gotten gang impacted and things like that. But he's brilliant. He actually goes in and works with the folks in the community around, like, hey, like, I'm not trying to gentrify and like make it so folks get priced out. Like, I'm actually trying to improve it so this community, folks have a nicer place to live and a safer place and
Mhm.
things. And so of
Yes,
course, everybody wants that, and if you're in a
absolutely.
street fraternity, which is what I prefer to call a gang, because that's really what they are. It's a street fraternity. Everybody needs a family.
Oh,
So
Christy, wait, stop, 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 stop. Christy, wait, girl, say that again. I love that. Say
oh,
that again.
the street fraternity, yes,
Yes. Oh my
yes.
God, that is so
Mhm.
good.
Yep. Killer
That
Mike.
is brilliant.
He's a musical artist. He's the one that taught me that. He did a wonderful show. And I mean, he's brilliant. He actually worked with some Crips and Bloods, or was one or the other, and had them work on branding, and that's the thing. Like, it's like folks that are in street fraternities are brilliant organizers. Actually,
They
when all
are.
the stuff went down in Ferguson, that's who did a lot of the protests organizing, is the street fraternities, because very good organizers know how to get folks places, supply chain. I mean, these folks have skills, but they were never given an opportunity to
Right.
actually utilize those skills in a different way. So, we humans, we are brilliant at adapting and figuring out how to navigate through what's coming at us. And so that was the folks in our street fraternities. That's their best way to do it. It's like
I
Father Christ
love
Whale,
that.
right?
Use
Father
those
Christ,
resources,
because
the
they've got them,
gifts,
and
the
recognize
talent.
the strength in people.
Absolutely. Oh, Christy, I just love you. So let's see what Carrot Connie said. Welcome, warm welcome to your guest, Christy. Thank you. I need to multitask a lot more. No, you don't. Your brain don't do that good.
I think he's referencing crying.
Oh, got it. That
I
part.
always see the
Yes,
post.
we
Yes,
all do. Oh,
yes.
Connie's funny. So, Gwen, we're going to come back to you, but I want to ask this question. So, Christy, tell us a little bit about the premise behind A Window Between Worlds, because I think it's magnificent. And I want to, at some moment, remind me that I do want to talk about what did I do that time? Theater of the Oppressed.
Oh yeah,
I want to
absolutely.
talk about that later. But tell about the premises behind AWBW.
Sure, absolutely. So, a window between
Uh-oh.
worlds, which is
Okay,
a
I'm actually delayed.
mouthful to say. Oh yeah, you're getting a little delayed for me too, but I figure, we'll just keep rolling.
We'll keep rolling.
It's
Let's go.
it is a mouthful to say, and we even worked with a branding company that was like, oh, you need to change your name, it's too complicated. We're like, thanks but no thanks, because it's based on the premise that when you're in a healing art
Mhm.
workshop and it's a safe and supportive environment, it's a window from the world that you're in to the world that you want to move towards, because we all as humans have such amazing resilience and brilliance, and we have these inner voices inside of us that we ignore, so they become whispers, and then we can't even hear them. And when you give
Mm.
yourself a moment to pause and take a look inside and listen to your heart, ask your heart, what does it have to say? Like, what do I want for my life? Like, where am I now? Where do I want to go? When you give yourself that window of time to ask your heart that question and engage in the creative process to figure that out and to let come out whatever needs to come out, it is that window from the world that you're into the world that you want to move towards. And it's
Oh my God.
absolutely powerful. It connects us to all of our inner power as, as artists. And I mean, everything, if you think about it, everything in life is creation, right? Like, and when we learn new things, we can create different ways that we react and move through situations. Like, that's what
Yes.
trauma isn't transformed, is transmitted. And so we
Mm.
support folks with transforming trauma, that way we're not transmitting it. And when we transform it, then we can go help other folks that have been traumatized.
Yes. Girl, look, say that quote again. I love it, love it, love it.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
trauma quote.
Trauma that isn't transformed is transmitted.
Y'all hear
Nobody.
that? Somebody write that in the chat, please. Trauma that isn't transformed is transmitted. Please, somebody put that in the chat for me right now, because that's powerful. That is so powerful.
Nobody was born coming into this world wanting to hurt people. Hurt people, hurt people. Heal people, heal people. Transform people, transform people. It's all, no, there's nobody who's like, and nobody who's bad. I don't think there's bad people. I think that all bad behavior is an unskilled expression of an unmet need.
Ooh, girl. Wait, say that again. Oh my God, you're killing me. Go ahead. Say that one more time. Thank you, CB. I appreciate it. She put it in the chat. Yeah, I need to get these right. We are recording this. I was going to say I need to record this. But that was fantastic. What is bad behavior?
All bad behavior is an unskilled expression of an unmet need.
Okay, y'all, I'm going to challenge you. Get that one down. All bad behavior is an unmet expression,
an unskilled expression of an unmet need. Because folks are just trying to get what they need, right? It's like, and that's what folks are acting out, so to say. It's really, they just want some love and attention. They just don't have a great way to say it. And we're not like a cat where we can just jump on somebody's lap and no one's gonna, people are gonna pet you,
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Well, Christy, I have been, I had the opportunity to have the experience, words are powerful, of being assaulted by a very traumatized 15-year-old girl at a particular group home that I worked at, and she was terminated. And my ask was, please do not make me be the one who has to tell her. I am the one adult that she has ever connected with, probably in her life. And every other person had betrayed her. And I did not want her, not me, I didn't want her to have to experience a betrayal coming from that one person.
Yeah.
I wanted that child to leave having experienced an adult that fought for her. Because I fought for her 3 times before they finally said, Shonda Ray, one more time and she's got to go.
Yeah.
And so, she was hurting. She fought with another young lady. Long story short, she had to be terminated. But they said, no, I had to be the one to tell her. I offered, no one should tell her. No one should have to sit for hours and hours and hours with that knowingness inside you and nothingness that you can do about it. Right? And so, and you're 15. Right? And you're 15.
Absolutely. And those that are the hardest to love are the ones that need it the most.
Exactly. But Christy, so she hurt me pretty badly. That's why I'm having surgery. But I,
Mm,
I had no way to be angry with her.
mm.
Now, keep it real, I was mad as hell
Oh
at
yeah,
the organization.
you're human. You have that human emotion as a
Yeah,
human being.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And because they didn't do what she needed and what I needed. They didn't protect neither one of us. But I say all that to say that she is a perfect example of that bad behavior quote that you just gave. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hurt people, like you said.
Yeah. And if no one ever showed her love or showed her that she was important, why would she think anybody else was or be able to
E-
show that to anyone? It's like telling somebody to build a house. No one ever taught them how to build a house. That's not possible. And we know
Exactly.
neurobiology, right? How it rewires our brain that when we have those traumatic experiences, it's like, we build those neural pathways and the more likely we are to, go down these negative roads, filter things through negative
Yes.
lens, feel threats where there isn't actually a threat because we don't know any different. We haven't had that lived experience. And then we get into our amygdala and forget it. When you're in that reactive part of your brain, fight, flight, freeze, or
Ooh.
fawn, nothing else. Nothing. It's like being in a house and all the other lights are off except in your amygdala, and you not have access to your prefrontal cortex.
Boo, boo, boo. Yes. You know
Mm-hmm.
the way that I used to teach at Pacific Oaks College, culture, attachment, and trauma, and I used to explain to them that. So here's the frontal lobe: reasoning, decision making, all that good stuff. Back here, amygdala, limbic system, all that is like. So when this is going, this goes. Calm this down, and you can think. And so it's so amazing the truth that rings with that and the simplicity of it, but the
Yeah.
difficulty of getting people to connect with it.
Absolutely. And all the messages from society, something's wrong with you. Like, why are you reacting like that? It's that whole, like Father Greg Boyle said, oh, well, people would tell him working with street fraternities. Well, they'd be like, well, why are you giving these people a second chance? And he would say, who said they got a first chance? They did.
Boom. Oh
They
my God,
did.
yes.
And rather
And
than
he said
standing in
second
judgment
chances.
go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I say, and there's another great quote. I'm not going to get this exactly correct, but he said, rather than standing in judgment of how folks carry their burdens, stand in awe that they carry them and just that they're able to move through. Like we want to judge folks,
Mhm.
but truly, if you got
Yes.
down to what is underneath that behavior, right? And it's sadly very American, right? Like we're just going to look at the symptom. We're going to look at the behavior. We're not going to look at the root cause, and we're just going
Yes.
to treat the symptoms, not look at the actual root cause to like what is
Hmm.
underneath that. And it's not that people are bad, it's that people have had bad experiences and they've had experiences where they weren't felt
Absolutely.
seen and heard and all of these different things from their loved ones, from the folks that they were supposed to see it the most from. If you don't have it there, whoo.
Exactly. You know what just popped into my head? It's dangerous. But what popped into my head just now was when you said that about like building the house. I thought of how how sometimes in cutting corners, uh, architects, government, whatever, will build things on poor soil to
Yeah.
milk. All these places where there's nothing good underneath there. It's all yuck, yuck, yuck. So then these people have had these yuck, yuck, yuck experiences. And then society says, you should be like this. You should do it this way. Why don't you have good behavior? Why don't you have, da 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 da? And so that's like the house. They're trying to build these people a house on top of this horrible soil. It don't work.
It
It
doesn't
does
work.
not work.
House gonna
Not
fall down, doesn't matter how cute it looks.
boom there.
And often, when we worry so much about our outer shell, it's because we're hiding what's in it. It's like there's a great documentary called Tough Guys, and it's Guise, because it's all the folks that, it's like the big lifted trucks and all that kind of stuff. Quite frankly, for me, it's all those folks that like fly the big American flags off the back of their trucks too. I'm just like, you do a
Somebody.
hill work there. Okay. That's you anytime you feel like you need to flex or put that macho, it's because you're trying to put forward this facade because you're not connected to your inner divine amazing self. And so we want to put
Yes,
up that facade.
absolutely. And I think that people who don't get that are afraid of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
afraid of that. Because that might make me vulnerable. That might make me this, that, or the other. That might make me human.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And we've got, people have been taught that vulnerability is bad. That's definitely
Yes.
something that was big in my family as well. Like I got told, I mean, I still get told sometimes, you're just so sensitive. And it's like, well, no,
Oh,
I'm actually
yes.
connected to my feelings, and I allow myself to feel them and express them, but mind you, that is a level of vulnerability, but there's a lot of programming in my family that being vulnerable means that you're not going to be safe.
And you're weak.
Mm-hmm. And
Yes. And you,
that's like you're weak, but it's all like, right, because they want to keep themselves safe, but it's like, no,
yeah.
actually, we're
Yeah.
all safe. We just need to really allow ourselves to connect to who we authentically are, and get rid
Yes.
of all of that. It's like, there's that Audre Lorde said, we have these tapes that play in our head of you're not good enough, and all these like negative tapes about who we are and our identities, and like negative messages that we heard about ourselves and who we are. And if you stop and think about whose voice is on that tape, it's not ours. It's somebody else's.
Ooh, yes. Oh my God. What a perfect segue. Let's see what the audience is saying first. You just gave me the perfect segue. Thank you. Gigi says, Gwendolyn Goodman says, True Colors, which is based on MBTI science, and make the personality temperament training more sticky or rememberable for life application. Thank you. Thank you for commenting, CB. Appreciate you. Thank you, girl. Trauma that isn't transformed is transmitted. I love it. This is some good information. Yes. Hey, Nana. I mean, Marie. Marie is joining us from Texas, and soon she'll be coming back to LA.
Yay!
This is great explanation. And Connie, what you saying, girl? A,
Ah,
a.
oh, and I do want to go back to something at some point as well, Sean Lorraine, that you touched on as well. But we can
I'll
do
do
that
it
anytime.
now. Do it now. No,
So
go ahead.
you made a great point. So language is so darn important. So
Mm-hmm.
knowing that, right? Like we know that, right? And we are in, like, the healing and wellness. I like to, we are not in the trauma field. We are in the joy and wellness and healing field. So if language is so important, and we know that, why do we, when we have to, move away from relationships with participants, why do we have to call it terminated? Are we is this the Terminator? Are we killing them?
Girl, thank you so much for that.
How does that get put into the vernacular of, us working in this field? Like, I would do that. Like, I have to terminate class. Like, I'm machete
Thank
or
you.
something.
Thank you. You know what I learned today? I learned the most magnificent. My therapist, when people have completed their work with her for the time being, she gives them a lovely letter congratulating them on what they've done, and also telling them, hey, if you know anybody else, spread the love. And I think that is so fabulous. And I hate that word too for this. It's like, no, it is a joyous celebration. You have tapped into the wellness that you came in here for. Bravo for both of us, all of us. And we will see you in the world.
Yeah.
And I thank you. Ooh, Christy, you are so amazing. I love you.
Back
Oh,
at you, Lorraine. Love you too. Oh,
other baby Gigi. Baby Gigi says, welcome, Christy. Thank you for tuning in, Gigi. Love you.
thank you for the
And
welcome, Gigi.
CB love. Now, um, you that sometimes the things making us feel some type of way, and the voices that we hear, and the things that are not our own voices. They're not things that we have developed, but they come from someone else. All that not enoughness. And
Yep.
so I'm looking for her. Where is she? Oh, she's down here today. So I want to share about my favorite workshop. You know what it is? Claiming who I am. Because I have a saying that is, when you are walking in your authentic, God given, God driven purpose, then you are stepping into your who you are ness. Yes, right. So this workshop resonates with me, and it was one of the first ones that I ever conducted. I don't know if I told you that. It was one of the first ones that I ever conducted back in 2010 when I started doing these things. And so recently, Christy asked me to conduct a workshop for their staff, and it was such a grand pleasure. And so, tell them about the workshop, Christy, and then I'll show them uh, my results.
Absolutely. No, thank you for bringing that up. And so this is one of our signature workshops that is a part of we do a 2-day facilitator training at A Window Between Worlds. So we're all about, we want to remove the barriers for anybody to be able to incorporate healing art workshops into the work they do. So you have to go to, go get your, become a licensed art therapist or anything. No, like anybody who wants to make a difference, utilize art to help folks heal, go to awbw.org, check us out, sign up for our trainings. We love to have you. We want to give you tools and resources so you can do that. So we have our 2-day signature training where folks come and really participate in the art workshops. That's the main thing that they do. So they have that lived experience of what it's like, as well as experiencing different facilitators. So we always have the Claiming Who I Am workshop as part of the training. And so it's the premise of the workshop is that folks first take a moment to think about, well, actually, so every workshop has an arc of healing. So it starts with some kind of an opening. And because this workshop goes deep, we want to connect folks to their resilience so they can kind of have that to touch back on. So we usually start the workshop where folks have an opportunity to share their I can or I am circle, where they talk about something that they did or that they overcame that they didn't think that they could, or something that other folks told them that they couldn't. And I mean, like it's when I leave this earth, I will flash to some of those circles because it is some of the most profound things I've ever heard folks share. So you connect to that resilience and really connect to, hey, even those things that folks told me I couldn't do, I actually did it and it came out great. Awesome. So we start there, and then we go into inviting folks to just free form stream of consciousness journaling, all of those I can'ts or all of those identities that aren't really you that other people put on you, told you that you were. So from oversensitive or crazy, I got a lot of that, and so but it was just I was having a trauma response and folks didn't understand that. And so you then had that opportunity to journal out, just get all of those I can'ts, all of those things labels that folks gave you that don't belong to you, get them out on the paper. You can then express them, because that's also very powerful, is to have folks bear witness to you releasing them from yourself. You release those, and then you can destroy them. And then you claim your I am. So then you make your I am, maybe it's a portrait, maybe it's a statement, maybe it's a word. We actually had somebody at the end of it end the workshop with a blank piece of paper and say, you know what? I get to decide now. Like, I didn't even need to create, but I get to decide, and all of that stuff is out for me. We've had folks then take their I can't shreds and make a mask of their empowerment mask. So that's a lot of our curriculum around where you take something and you transform something that represents your abusive past and create something empowering. So it's then you claimed who you are, because the only person who really knows and who really can define who we are is ourselves.
That's right. That's so right. I love it. So I want to show, I'm fixing her hair right now. Hold on.
Yes.
Everything. So when I started doing the workshop, it has changed just a bit, which I learned, in doing the staff training. But it used to be that you cut out like a figure, like almost like a gingerbread man. And that is representative of you, and then you can recreate yourself and dress yourself and do all these things. And I used to bring fabric and all kinds of beautiful fabrics and hair and yarn and everything, Michael's hair, to the workshop. So I created, this is Shauna Ray, here she is, she got the sparkle baby, and oops, her skirt's a little tripping, but so this is me, y'all. Oops, here I am. And then what I also love is the core. And of course she has on her jewelry, right? Matching jewelry. Okay. And but what I love is also about the core, because you get to put a circle where you write all the new things that represent you, or words that represent you, and that sort of thing. And so on the back of, you can put your core anywhere you like. So I put my core on the back, and it says, I am joyful, soulful, fabulous, unafraid. I don't know what that says. Kind, knowing, Don't know. Oh, that will go. It goes this way. Smart, and fit, and faithful, and loving. So those are all the things that I put on the back here for my current who you are-ness. But it was so powerful, and what I loved about it in doing it this time with your staff is that no two people had anything even close to one another. And that was so powerful for me because it really spoke to, like, we are all so beautifully unique and so beautifully available to step into our, yes, here, what CV said, our true power, which is your who you are-ness. And I just loved it, Christy. Thank you so much for asking me to do that. Now I have one more thing to share. I got a little bag of tricks over here. Hold on.
Oh, and while you're grabbing that, I just want to add, I love that, like how you shared, you do a different variation. We, that's part of the Power of the Windows program is we're like, okay, so here's some general steps that you can have, but take it in your own direction and welcome everybody to modify it and do a variation, because just as only we can define who we are, each person that's going to lead in our workshop, only they're the ones that knows what's going to work best for their participants. And you need to, and sometimes you go into a workshop with a plan and you go like, oh, we got to go in a whole direction. So that's wonderful. And that's one of the great things about the program is it really is responsive, and you can pivot and do variations to really match exactly wherever folks are in that moment, whatever art supplies you have available, whatever the group dynamics are. It's the epitome of meeting folks exactly where they are in that moment.
I love that. And I love the languaging behind all of them, because they talk about, let's take this window of opportunity for yourself. And that, I'm going to give you some suggestions. Feel free to follow them. Feel free to not. You know what I mean? And that's so empowering. It really is, especially with people who have had trauma, because they've had their script written not by themselves for so long.
Yes, ma'am.
And you tap right into that and you wear that jacket. And that jacket is no longer in style if you don't want it to be.
That's right.
Drop it. Okay. So I wanted to put this up because it's so true. Cascade and y'all. Kyle, right? Christy is so amazing, and I concur wholeheartedly. Now let's see. Oh, so what I wanted to do is I got this because Christy surprised me with when I did the workshop, and she provided me with this. Wait, my lights, with this little number here. And so I know you can see here, of course, you can tell about the jewelry and the nail. That's my hand. And then over there, that hand is one of the grand boys. And that hand is that hand is the other grand boy. And this is a piece of art that we created at the photo shoot, wasn't it? What was that? We had a photo shoot and we were asked to participate, where we went and we did art all day and fun things. And we were photographed and filmed. And so Christy found this piece that had my hand on there. And there we go. My grandbabies. This is hilarious. Hands on there. And their hands are like huge now. They're 6 feet plus each. And they were so tiny then, weren't they, Christy?
Oh my gosh, I can't believe when you said they were like 16 and 17, I was like, oh my gosh, they were just little bubbies at the time.
Yes.
Time flies. Ooh.
Yes. At this moment, by the way, they are both 16 because they are 10 and a half, 11 months apart. So in September, they'll be 16 and 17. But those are my little guys. My guys, because they're not little anymore. But this is so beautiful from, what was it, Canvas World?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, canvasworld.com. Yeah.
Out to them because I really love it. And I don't even remember, I remember doing it, but I don't remember the what it was on. And so I thank you so much for that. It just warms my heart.
Oh, you're so welcome. No, thank you so much for being our cover girl. For you all,
that's right.
You all watching may not know. So we did that photo shoot. Oh gosh, 8 years ago, something like that. Very long. No, maybe not 8, but it was years ago.
I think it was 2013, right?
Oh, was it 2013? Yeah. So goodness.
Oh,
yeah, it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
so we've still been utilizing the same photos because we had a photo shoot that we were planning to do. Oh, I think it was about April of 2020. Y'all know what happened there. So we've been using the same photos. And so it was a day-long photo shoot. I mean, tons of photos. And there is one photo that is absolutely stupendous. And it is Sean Lorraine's fabulous and fashionable self smiling into the camera. She's like with a paintbrush, like, and I mean, looking beautiful, joyous. I mean, it's like right now, it just emanates from you, Sean Lorraine. And so,
thank you.
Girl. And because every time we need to make some material so we can share with folks about the training, we're like, push on Lorraine, push on Lorraine.
I love it.
So it's the least we can do.
Yeah, somebody called me and told me, was it you? I think it was you that called me and told me to look on the website. Yep. And so I was like, oh, there I am. Yes, I'm so grateful for that. That's so much fun. And so what are folks saying? Cascade and Kyle are saying, love all these descriptors of yourself, Sean. I've just met you, but they all shine through the screen. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. CB says, oh, wow, that's beautiful, isn't it? I love it so much. Such a great piece of art. Well, thank you all for your comments. I appreciate the energy. We're feeling it, Christy and I. So Christy, there was something I wanted to ask. So I got to be involved in Theater of the Oppressed. So please, and I never give a description that people walk away going, oh, okay. So would you please give them a description of what that is and again, the premise behind it? Because the most I can remember is it was our Toro Ball, and it had something to do with the oppressed people over in
Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, Augusto Ball.
Tell me about that, please.
So what he recognized, and this is just I'm working from memory. So we had years ago had a staff member. Shout out to Julianne Gale. They are an amazing human being. We love them.
Yes.
It was actually, I believe, just last week. Actually, I'm gonna have to make sure to send this to Julianne. Just an amazing human. And Julianne came on staff and actually got their master's degree in applied theater arts from USC. And studied, and the focus was Theater of the Oppressed. So it was Augusto Boal from Brazil created this, and it's using different theater and other movement-based modalities, embodied art, if you will, for folks to look at. Basically, it's kind of around windows, like where they are, where their communities are, and where they want to go. It's very kind of social ecological model is where, well, it's like, okay, so we want to look at ourselves. We want to look at the communities that we all live in, and then how that impacts and kind of reverberates out from there. And it's so, I mean, it's just brilliantly, it came out well before Bessel van der Kolk's The Body Keeps a Score, which is an amazing book about how trauma resides in the body. So when you do these Theater of the Oppressed activities, you are actually engaging with your words and your body to reprogram yourself and to have a different experience where we're navigating through these traumas or these things, and then we're moving in different directions. And so he came up with it so that the idea that communities could be given an opportunity to be empowered for them to look at issues that were going on in the community, and for the community members themselves to solve them, rather than some person coming in and, okay, you need to do this. I mean, where we thought this was a good, I mean, I feel like it's just colonialism all over again.
Okay.
Like colonialism and patriarchy and all that crap, where like, I am an expert and I'm going to come in here and tell you, no.
I know better than you about you.
Right? It's like the clothing company, you know, for us, by us, nothing for us without us, you know, like, come on, people. It's very, And so it's incredible.
Yes, FUBU, baby. I love it. So, Christy, I remember a particular exercise that we did, and it was like we created a machine.
Yes.
Out of us. Now, this is pre-COVID, y'all, so don't judge me. But we all became a part of this working machine.
Yep.
And it was so powerful, and I loved it so much because we were all given positions, but we had to figure out how we were going to fit ourselves in to the machine. It was so empowering and so fantastic. And I actually did that a few times with some of the kids at the group home. When I was working with them, because it was all like, we all got to live here, y'all. So how are we going to work this out?
Yeah.
You got that personality, you got that personality. Y'all like the same boys and girls. It's all a whole thing. And they fight over, like it's not like this person is yours, but you're gonna fight over it like it's your toy. So all of that was going on, and six young women living together, very restricted, and all of that with hormones and all these
Yeah.
things going on all at the same time in a foreign place, there because of trauma. Ooh.
Yeah.
But this was one of their favorite things to do.
The embodied art is incredible.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have another one that's still in the curriculum that we did it. I think you were at our Calcasa training back in 2013. I think you might have been there where we did the river stories. And so it's an
Oh,
idea where you look
yes.
at yourself, yeah, right, like your journey through life as a river, and like where was it rough waters? Where was the water shallow? Where was it deep?
Yes.
Was there any, what else was in the river? What kind of environment was around your river? And so you create the river, but then you get an opportunity to walk your river where you share about different big life experiences that you've had. And you can be as detailed or as general as you want. And you share this, we walk your river with a supportive witnesses. So the other folks that are in the workshop are bearing witness. And then at the end of it, you say, your last step and the date, and the rest of the group echoes back, we see you.
Yes.
And that's like it's Oprah said, all we want to do is be seen and heard. That's all us folks, spiritual beings having a human experience. We just want to be seen and heard and believe and held and have a sense of belonging. And it's such a powerful way to do it. So absolutely still have embodied art elements in the curriculum. Encourage folks to do it because the body keeps the score. So and with that energy, let's get it on out.
It does. And that's why I so appreciate Oprah's book, What Happened to You.
Yes. Ooh, her Dr. Bruce Perry, talk about a power team.
Yes. Oh, and what's his name? Dr.
Bruce Perry.
Bruce
Yeah.
Perry. Yes. Oh my gosh. I listened to that book, and it was like I could not wait to get in the car to turn it on, to come and share, because it was so powerful and so much in alignment, because I had also listened. I have the big old Bessel van der Kolk book. I have had it 100 years, but I listened to the book, The Body Keeps Score. And it was powerful for me also because one of our specialties, of course, here is we work with those who have had the opportunity to experience trauma. And I work with veterans. And so a lot of, in that book, he talks about the military trauma. That's how he starts out. And so it's been just an amazing way, like to marry all these different resources that I've been given and tools to be able to help people in their most vulnerable states. It is a gift, isn't it, Christy?
Oh, being of service is just it's the greatest gift of my life. And I pull cards every morning, and the one I pulled this morning is I do something good for others. And it's that whole thing, like every time that you do something good for someone else, it comes back to you tenfold. Every smile you give, you get 10 more back. And there's a great documentary from Danny Trejo, who's an actor. And in the documentary, he said every single good thing that's happened to me came to me because I did something for someone else. He got started in acting because he was a sponsor. And this actor who was on the set was there was folks using on set, and so the actor was really struggling with their sobriety, called him because he was a sponsor. He shows up on set. They were filming a movie, and they needed folks that were to play inmates, and they had all these folks that they had hired, but Danny Trejo actually had been an inmate because he used substances to cope with the trauma that he experienced, which led to his and also was involved in street fraternities, led to his incarceration. And so he shows up on set, and they're like, "Will you?" And look at what happened. I mean, just
I know exactly.
Career, right?
Such a good character actor. Yes, absolutely. I love that. Right place, right time.
Yes.
You know how that works. I love it.
And going back to, I don't mean to cut you off, I just wanted to share, made my brain go, because I love that book as well. And part of what really stood out to me was Dr. Bruce Perry said that folks, he said, we always want to like label and pathologize people. We want to give them a diagnosis and put folks in a box. And he said, but if you look at folks' lived experience, everybody would have the same diagnosis. And it's, what do you expect?
Hello. Ooh, I like that. Absolutely. I remember that. Yes, so true. And that's what I used to try to get the people who run a lot of these organizations that are set up to help
Mhm.
I don't know. I guess after, I don't know if it's the time in or the having to meet the quotas and having to, justify the funding and all of that, where somewhere in there they lose the connection to what it is they set out to do.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep.
And I'm so grateful that I get to do therapy Sean Ray's way. I definitely follow the rules, y'all, sort of.
Yeah.
But as much as my body will let me. But the truth is I was always getting into trouble when I worked for some of the organizations because it was like, you got to bill, got to bill, got to bill. I'm spending my time with the girls. Am I
Yep.
doing progress notes? No. Am I worried about seeing them 100 times to make the quota and billing and blah and all of that? No. And that's, the DMH machine. It's not a bad thing because it does give folks the help, right? Who might not have other resources. But in private practice, I take all that information that I have learned and I bring that here and I do the Sean Ray dance with it. You know what I mean? And I'm so grateful for that. You have no idea. And as it turns out, my practice has sort of turned into a teaching practice. And
Yes.
so I get to bring on interns who are still in their master's program at UMass Global, and they get to come and work here with us. And my first intern is now an associate. She worked here. She finished her internship in December and graduated. And we just waited and checked the mail for that registration number. And now she's an associate working in the practice. And this little girl, young woman, is just brilliant from the soul, like
Mm.
she's 29 and like 104. You know what I mean? Like she's just wise and intuitive and, all of that because it's like, when this is what you're supposed to do. And,
Yes.
and it's
Yep.
so clear. It's so clear for her that
Yep.
this is what she was supposed to do. Now I can't. Hello, Jennifer. Thank you for joining us.
Yes. Jenna Hannah.
Christy is a ray of sunshine. You ladies are both amazing. Thank you. I think Christy and I might be twins. Oh, you're already a twin. Could we be triplets?
Heck yes.
Wait, so this is what I did not know. I meant to go back to that. All this time, I don't recall that you were a twin. You mean there are two lovely yous floating about the country?
There are, and check this out. My identical twin sister works at one of our collaborating partner agencies, A Greater Hope. They provide services mainly for youth involved in the foster system.
What? Christy,
Mhm.
wait, I'm just trying to imagine. And please take this from my whole heart. I am trying to imagine being in a room with two of you. It is a joy festival. It is a complete joy festival. Do you guys have the same temperament and all of that, you think?
Great question. So we have the same cadence and in delivery. We both have a lot more energy than most folks. But I took a child development class and it all revealed it to me. So apparently with siblings, if they are the same gender, and particularly if the closer they are in age, they really strive to carve out their own individuality. So although we're identical twins, we're actually pretty different. And so in like I would say I'm less professional. Like I'm just kind of more like boo. And even like just even how we dress. Like I got all dressed up for you today, put a little makeup on, but like I don't all fancy that is. But like usually I don't. My sister looks wonderful and beautiful every day. Like she just and she's the director of development. She's a brilliant writer, is brilliant fundraiser. That stuff like I'm like that I am not. That is not my wheelhouse. So it's
Yes, girl.
there's a lot of similarities there, but then there's also a lot of differences, and I think that also has to kind of do with that, like that whole like because it was growing up, it was just like so interesting that look the same because we really do look very similar, sound very similar, similar heights, similar body sizes, like all that stuff.
Oh my gosh, I love that there are two of you. I just love that. And what's her name?
Amanda.
Oh, so they didn't name you the same. Ah, good. I
Oh
like
yeah,
it.
the joke was that I was Matthew because my parents had two names picked out, Amanda and Matthew, for a boy and a girl because we're adopted. And
Oh,
so then it was like, nope, there's two girls.
we'll take them. I love it. That's so beautiful. Oh my gosh, let's go great. Let's see what folks are saying
And
here.
while you're looking, Sean Lorraine, I did want to share.
Thank you.
You spawned my memory of something I wanted to share around, like, with service providers, and sometimes I think why we don't show up in the ways that we really should, and it's unwittingly. I did this for years. I was not trying to not show up and really bring my full best self. I just didn't have connection to that because I hadn't done my own healing. And so the quote is, people that have not healed themselves bleed on those they try to help.
Oh, Christy, yes. Say that again.
On people. People who have not healed themselves bleed on those they try to help. So I was unwittingly just bleeding all over folks and like thinking I was like doing, and then but it's that whole, like, we have to live it, right, in order to be able to see it in other people. Like, the more I judge myself, the more I judge others. The more I struggle to love myself, the more I struggle to love others. Everything starts at home. And the more we can do it from within, and mind you, I speak from a place of not doing it from with home. And I mean, I would run support group and be saying stuff, and in the back of my head, people going, oh, you don't do that. You don't do that. Oh, you need to have reciprocity in your relationship. I was with some yahoo, who like, it was anything but reciprocal with our relationship. Okay. I mean, I was not doing this for years. And so it truly wasn't until I started doing the Window Between Worlds program, where, kind of going back to what we were talking about earlier, you participate and I'd be like, like my wellness matters. Like, and another one of my favorite quotes is, your care and compassion is incomplete if it doesn't include you.
Ooh, girl, stop. Okay, Latasha, I see you out there. Latasha, write that down in the chat for me, girl. Repeat that, please. Latasha says hi.
Hi, Latasha. So
you're sorta love it. So Latasha is an LPC out of Georgia.
Oh, wonderful! We're doing a training, or a day-long art action event in Georgia. We need to connect. We would love for you to participate.
Oh, yes. Tasha,
it's fabulous.
Yes. Tasha is my energy pal wherever I'm ready. If if I say let's, she says go, and vice versa. So we get to go to an amazing training next September in London. Thank you very much.
Oh, give me that London town. Fabulous.
Well, there's this amazing practitioner. His name is Ernesto Seismundo. I'm not doing that correctly. Forgive me, Ernesto. But he's fabulous. And I met him at my therapist organization, San Fernando Valley, California Association of Marriage Family Therapists, SFVCAMF for short. And he came in to teach us about, social media and how important it is as a practitioner. And so we all got to get up and do an introduction. He went live. And so, me. So he says, okay, come up here, young lady. And he said, introduce yourself, say hi to the people. And I did. And he goes, okay, this is a pro. Somebody else.
He was looking for a freshman. He didn't know that you taught class. Yes.
He said, I can't give you any tips. Go sit down. And so we, sort of, I talk to him. I see him here and there. And then he started doing his own conferences. And so he's evolved in that. Latasha has spoken at a couple of them. And he calls them the not so typical psychotherapy summits. And I love, love, love it.
Yes.
I had a brilliant thought, because I've been trying to figure out what I will pitch to do, these things. And I have the opportunity to speak for one of the CAMF organizations up in Santa Rosa. Mm-hmm. I just thought I get to, because it's 6 hours, so I get to incorporate an art workshop.
Ooh, do it. One of my favorites, especially for service providers, is Cup of Gratitude. That's a great one. Personal Needs Flower, where folks are looking at their individual needs, what they are, creating reminders to meet those needs. One of my most favorites, actually, this is kind of becoming one of my definitely this year, one of my most favorites is permission canvases. So giving ourselves permission to take breaks, permission
Yes.
to kind of reel it back in, and permission to practice that self-care, because
Yes.
it's that whole thing, because we do this work because we have such great passion, but
Yeah.
then we're just going and going and going, but we're not taking care of ourselves, and vicarious trauma is real. It has a
Yes,
huge
indeed.
impact on our mind, body, and soul. And so we need to take that time for us to take care of ourselves. And it's not even big things. Like I
Right.
preach self-care, and I'm like, oh, I don't have time for all that. When I started working from home full time, I started taking a walk at the end of every day. Changed my life. Little
Girl,
walk. It's little
girl,
changes, and it makes a huge difference in your life, right? Life
I
is
love
like
that.
one slight change and all patterns alter.
My gosh, you are the best quoter.
I love a quote. When you told me
I
earlier,
mean,
oh, I got
we were, yes, we were talking about that earlier, and I said, ooh, there's a quote on my lotion. And I said, I'm going to incorporate that into the show. I'm going to give a quote a day, so a week. So here's the quote for this week, week one of the quote stuff. So, by the way, y'all, this is some fantastic, what is it called, Chrissy? It's called
philosophy.
whipped body cream, and it's called, oh, it smells so divine. Look at that. It's whipped body cream, and it's called Amazing Grace, and it is by Philosophy. That's the brand. Christy helped me out with that because I thought the brand was Amazing Grace because whatever. But Philosophy, and it says, with every act of grace, the world gains a touch more love. And oh my gosh, that resonated with me so much just then. Grace is something that I think about all the time because I always have to remind myself
Mm-hmm.
to give it,
Mm.
give it, and I remind myself that Miss Thang, you ain't all that perfect or nothing like that. So give grace.
Yes. Whenever I need to remember that, I think, oh, look, I'm having a human moment. Just be light with it, play with it. It changes the energy. Oh, look at me,
Yeah.
I'm having a human
Oh,
moment.
I
Oh,
love that.
I
I,
got another one. When we're critical of ourselves, when we're not at our best, it gets us further away from who we are.
ooh.
Mm.
Y'all, I love it. I love it. And that brings me when you say to who we are or something like that you said. I didn't, I'm gonna mess it up if I try to paraphrase it. But it's my quote that's on my website, which is by Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. That's my French. Which is we are not human beings having a spiritual experience, but we are spiritual beings having a human experience. That I don't know where I saw that, Christy, but I'm like, ooh, why didn't I know this? And I tucked it away because I knew that I wanted that to be on my website.
Yes.
And it is. It is. I have in my phone, y'all, because I love quotes so much. I have in my phone a tab for quotes. So I'm just going to, I should just give Christy my phone and let her type them all in. But
Do it. I want that tab in your phone. I want to see what's in there. And P.S. Shelleray, I've got one too.
I told you we're triplets. Oh, now you know what? We just talked about the butterfly.
Oh yeah.
The butterfly is only beautiful because the caterpillar is brave. I like that. It's a very fun time with both the, probably with the both.
Oh, that's Naomi Dog. We grew up together.
Oh my gosh, hello, Naomi. Oh, that must have been a treat, Naomi. And I bet you're very special too because you would have to be. You would have to be. And CB says you're doing great. And Tasha had already said that. So beautiful growth. So proud. Yes.
Mm.
Man,
Ah.
each crick bear.
That's my husband, my other husband, David. So he calls me Crick Bear because he says I'm like a Care Bear, which I love. I'm like, man, I always just like radiate out that energy. Yes.
I love it. And crick bear. It's got a ring. It's got a ring. I love it. So yes, please. So that means yes, please put y'all in touch. So I'm on that.
Oh yes, yeah, because absolutely, we're going to do some wonderful stuff in Atlanta, and how the street fraternities, how I had put that term out. That's actually from Killer Mike, who is a musical artist who lives in Atlanta. So we've got all kinds of wonderful Atlanta communities, and he is doing amazing things for the community. I mean, I know Killer Mike sounds a little tough, but that's just because when he was coming up in the rap game, he was known for like killing his opponents with his words.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
He's incredible, and him and T.I. are doing some work together to create some barber shops and it's very, you know, around so for community building, because hello,
Yeah. Those are just, well decorated therapist office. Hello. Um,
Ma'am, yes, yes, that right there is community care. You know, we talk so much about self-care. We don't talk about community care, you know, and it's like, again, with folks in the movement, right, that are working with service providers. It's like, oh, well, practice self-care. Yeah, but you work crazy hours. You work in a job that doesn't pay you much. You don't, you know, get time off. So it's like, and then mind you, then it's just another thing on your to-do list. Rather, it's like students. It's like students. You were talking about getting your doctorate. You know, it's like we know how important it is to care for ourselves, but the environment does not allow for it. So let's
know that.
Right? So any conversation around self-care is incomplete if we don't also talk about community care and how do we transform our communities to care for us and to create those loving and nurturing environments that we as human beings having a spiritual experience need to connect to all that we are.
Absolutely, 100%. I love that. Connie says, I feel so enlightened by this conversation. I'll have to listen in replay just to jot down the gems. Absolutely, Connie. Absolutely. And Latasha said, give me the info on the art conference. Yes, we will definitely do that. Let's see. What is this here? Christy, you are cracking me up. You just said like, boom. You're just like, boom.
That's a very good description.
So good. Yes, she's amazing. People who have not healed themselves bleed all over, folks. Whoa.
And we're well intended, right? We've got great intentions, you know, but we want to, we just, we don't know any better, you know? Goes back to that whole building the house thing, right? And also these environments of scarcity. And, you know, like I remember I was transformed when I had a MFT. She was what do they call that? See, I wanted to say overseer. Let's not put forward plantation word in there. Okay. She's supervisor. And said, and I was like, she said, well, you know, anybody that's providing healing services should be in therapy themselves. And I was like, really? That's yes, and we should, but it's not the connotation, right?
Absolutely. Listen, Christy, the day that I started the week that I started my practicum, that's when you're still in school and you're collecting 300 hours at my school to graduate. Ooh. I worked at Loved Ones Victim Services. We work with survivors of homicide and how do we call it? Homicide and criminal offenses, you know. And so our clients had lost loved ones to murder, drunk drivers, all kinds of criminal things like that. And I walked in there, and even when I got there, you know, little Miss Bougie from Toledo, Ohio, my family, when I went in there, I'm like, okay, I'm going here because I promised God I would go wherever they called me. Okay, here. I'm going to take this interview real quick. Got there late, Sean LeBray. I get in there, I sit plop down, and I look around, and there are like 7 people in the room. I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, I probably won't get this. Now, I'm going to say this, but it doesn't mean that's why I chose this place. But then in walks this tall, dark, and handsome chocolate drop of goodiness. And he was my clinical supervisor. And I was just what? And then he had a Trinidadian accent. He was from Trinidad and New York. And so I peeked up a little bit in New York. Okay. And he talked about how we would be able to meet with people in their most vulnerable states. We would walk through the trenches with them. And that's what I had said. I said, God, please provide me an opportunity to be with people in the trenches, to see people at their lowest selves, and to help them become their best selves. And here we are. And so I didn't go in there wanting that thing, but I left there like, ooh, there were 7 of us, God. Me and you know? And I literally was on my way to a place, you don't know, you know the reference. Some of y'all might not know this reference, but in Pomona.
Oh, yeah.
From my house in the valley.
Oh, goodness. Without traffic, that's an hour. With it, woo! Forget about it.
Yes. And I was getting ready to go there for an interview when I got the call. So, okay, you've been selected. And I was just like, oh. And that experience really transformed my whole life. Because my family was like, who are you? Because I don't like things that are not nice. You know, and this was not nice stuff. But I literally, the compassion that was born in me was rebirth.
Mm.
The understanding, the willingness to get out of the way, like all of that transformed in me as a result of the work that I was doing. And I never thought I had capacity nor desire to do this kind of work.
Yeah.
I never planned on, look, I wasn't going to be no trauma recovery specialist. I wasn't going to do that. Okay. I was going to, but I did say, by the time I finished my program, I had that statement that I just said about the trenches and all that. But I also said, God, don't bring me no people who are stressing out because their husband took their credit card. I can't. So God, he was like, okay, I got you. I'm not going to do that. Yeah. And he did. So here we are. But it is a wonderful space to land.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, and such important work. Folks tell me, they're like, oh goodness, how do you do that work? And I'm like, are you kidding me? If I had to work at a bank or something, I would be miserable. That just sounds like a little slice of hell, which P.S. I don't think exists. I think that people make up hell because they live in a hell in their minds, but that's a whole other topic.
But still.
But still, yeah, it's like, no, like, I'm like, I get to, and that's just it, right? Like, it is incredible, the strength and the resilience and just the wisdom and that folks have in this world, and that I've gotten to bear witness to that. It's the most inspiring, uplifting, makes me so darn grateful thing I've ever experienced. And it's very much, it just reminds me of, it makes me think about like this, when you're growing up, folks be like, oh, they just look at life through rose-colored goggles. You know what? That's not a bad thing. I'm actually, as an adult, I am specifically looking to do that, because it's like, it's all about how you view things, and that completely changes it, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's just all like, okay, so what am I going to look at? Am I going to look at, and that's also with working with folks. That's something that, I've supported facilitators who are supporting staff members who don't see the brilliance and the wisdom in the folks they serve. And you gotta see it, because it's there. Maybe it's really hidden under some bad, under some bad behavior, but it's all there, and if we just gotta, see that and see that in them and shine that light on it, then it's like, then everything becomes illuminated, just like your fabulous self did. I've got light envy. Okay. Like, I'm like, I mean, whatever lighting you got going on, because you're like glowing. And I'm like,
so, I have to tell the story. My girl Connie has these very same lights, because we, like I said before, did the Andy Enriquez's Master Storyteller Academy. And so, funny story. So we were, they had our addresses and whatever. And so one day, I'm about to like run out my door, and there's this big old box, like tall, at my door. And so I'm like, ooh. And so I put it in the house. I'm like, I'm late, because I was late, And so I couldn't look right there, but I had to go and do whatever I was doing and come back. And I came back and I opened it up, and it was this big canvas roll bag of these lights, which they're all disassembly. You can do that. They have battery packs, and they are fabulous. That was the first thing. So a couple of days, so I called our coach, Lewis, shout out to Lewis. And I said, hey, wow, look what I got. And told him about it. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, 2 days later, I look up, and there's a box this big, and it has a podcast mic.
Oh,
a fabulous podcast mic. So I'm like, ooh, I call him back. Oh, guess what? And I called Connie. I said, Connie, did you get so? She's like, yes. So then I actually had called my friend Chantel and her husband, and I FaceTimed with them so they could see me open, like, what? Look at this treasure. And so then 2 or 3 days later, you all saw me focusing this little baby right here. The camera came, and it was so amazing, because I had said, that I really, really need to get on this podcast thing.
That's some universe stuff right there, Charlotte Ray.
Set up, baby, set up. And we did that in June. We did it in June. And then in November, I was like, okay, girl, stop. Do it. And so, what are you going to call it? I had written down what I wanted to call it. I had come up with the acronym. Oh, by the way, y'all, Boss Talk is bold, one of a kind. sensational superstars, just like my guest here this evening. And so that's how this whole baby was born. And so, really, shout out to Andy Enriquez and his team, Star, Babatunde. They are amazing. And, of course, people say, well, oh, girl, you were born a storyteller. Yeah, but here's the thing, I used to get lost in the sauce. I get, and still do sometimes, but I get lost in the story, right? Because I am so focused on details. I think that you need to know everything that happened. And the way that Andy helped us with that is we had 3 minutes every time. No matter what it was, you had to get it in under 3 minutes. And he said, because if you can do it for 3 minutes, then you can expand it when you have a bigger talk or a bigger whatever. But it was such an amazing learning experience. And I have learned how to be concise a little bit.
That's incredible.
Yes, I love shouting out the folks. Now let's see what's being said here. Okay, wait. She is so good. Said that again. It's so true. Let's see what did people. Oh, we did. Okay, wait. I'm repeating myself here. Hold on. Hypo. J Cabal Jam Acoustic. Well, hypo back at you, boy. Nice to have you. Thank you. He said something else. I think that's virtual hug.
Oh.
Go. Thank you ever so.
I love it. And just to kind of come back to what you were saying about the 3 minutes, that's another thing like we really share with folks when we're doing the trainings as well, and when we're facilitating is like, even if you just give yourself 2 minutes to connect with your breath. One of our big things is the 3 breaths, just giving yourself an opportunity to take a breath for the past, in and out, breath for the present, breath for the future. It can be transformative. And we know from neurobiology, right, if we take that moment to connect with our breath, or just to do these little simple things, sip water, do a little bilateral stimulation, or do a little tapping, it can reset our nervous system and it can have wonderful impacts. And that goes back to that whole creating, like, sure, we've experienced trauma. And so these trauma responses get activated, but we can learn tools and resources so we can react differently going forward, and we can create ways that we move through the world. And for me, the most hopeful term I ever heard was neuroplasticity, because I'm working in the field, right? Everybody's talking about, trauma rewires the brain and it's all this, and then you're going to be reactive. And I'm just like, oh no. Like, nope, neuroplasticity, but you can rewire it. And we work with somebody at Windows who says, because, my former therapist would always say, we as humans are Velcro for negativity and Teflon for positivity. And it's neurobiological, right? Like when we were early, man had to be, or woman, I should say, early people had to be mindful. Like we needed to remember, don't eat the berries off of that bush because it'll kill you, right? So like we had to remember that thing. It was more important to remember the negative and the positive. Yeah, well, we are not in the hunter-gatherer stage anymore. So let's move on with that. And it's incredible how we can build these new neural pathways. And she's like, so Chris, she's like, now I'm the opposite. She's like, I am a Velcro for positivity because I rewired my brain. And I'm like, yes, you did. And I'm doing it too. Like yes, we are connected to joy. We are in the business of joy, and our friend Jen does joy spreading, and just knowing that joy is our birthright. And maybe somebody's going to distract us from that. Get back to it.
Yes. Oh, Chrissy, my legs are just shaking. I love that. Joy is our birthright. Somebody put that in the chat, please. Put that right on in the chat. Connie said, preach. God gives us grace so freely, so why can't we do that for each other? Come on. Yes. Connie, thank you 100%. Now, Christy, you're talking about self-care, darling. What is your routine? What are some of the things that you do for yourself in a realm of self-care?
Love that question. So taking a walk after I get done with my work day, getting outside, walking around, it is just magical. And I listen to podcasts, which I find super, super inspirational. There I was just reconnecting with this great Brene Brown interview, this Franciscan monk, and he was talking about embracing uncertainty. And let me tell you, I love. I am drawn to certainty. Like why
Yes.
not write? It's like I just want it to be certain. I want to know, but no, it's not. That's not life, and also that's not really helpful because if you embrace
Mhm.
uncertainty and you just embrace the journey and let whatever comes may come, the journey often will take you down different routes that you never would have gone down. So it's like
Yes.
it's embrace the journey, buy the ticket, take the ride, and enjoy the ride. You know.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so the walk.
Chrissy, I have a saying called flip it, right? So
Oh,
when you have stuff that shows up, for instance, when your surgery gets canceled 2 days before, I'm just saying, then you flip it. You flip it into whatever positive thing you can squeeze out of it. And so I've been practicing that ever since 9:21 this morning. But I had to cry. I had to go through the kicking and screaming. And then I'm like, okay,
mm,
here you go. You are there now. Now embrace it. What is the purpose of all of this? And so I'm pretty sure it means I'm supposed to go back to Palm Springs and stay till Friday, which is what my rental was for. But it's one of those timeshare things. You're booked till you book 7 days, but you can leave anytime you want. And so my girlfriend and I left on Monday, came back here, did some appointments. We were supposed to go back on Tuesday, but they said I had to do another appointment today. Now I can go back.
yes, man. There we go. Talk about that self-care. Get yourself to Palm Springs. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, right. It's like if we look back,
Right in front of our door.
yes, there's always that learning, right? When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. Like
Yes.
there's always like we can find that silver lining and that lesson or that gift and opportunity in the challenge. We just got to look for them and we got to see that it's there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you mentioned rose colored glasses and how people used to say that about you. And of course, they've called me Pollyanna all my life. So, in case you're not old enough to know who Pollyanna was a girl who was perpetually happy or could find the good in everything. And literally growing up, that was me. I was like, oh, okay, well, turning it, flipping it. I've been flipping it since I was a little girl. So, it's a gift, and I get that, right? But if I were a gifted I don't know, artist, painter, if I were a gifted painter and I didn't paint, right, I wouldn't be a gifted painter. It wouldn't matter that I was gifted, right? So the
Yes.
fact that was implanted in me at birth, and that whole thing means that I doesn't mean that I don't have to practice it. Right?
Yes. Even the choir needs to rehearse.
Thank you very much. Look at you, girl. See. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because on Sunday morning, you got to sound right.
Yes. Yes.
I love it. Well, you know what? So somebody loves. Let me see what else. Quotation queens. That's got it. Love Killer Mike. Okay.
Yes, isn't he? I mean, talk about somebody that is making such an amazingly positive impact on as an individual on his community. I mean, I mean, and not to mention he's an amazing musical artist, but just like that, like it's that there's a great it was Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers would say, he said when he was a little guy and he was scared and because there was bad things happening, his mom would always say, look for the helpers. Look for the helpers. Killer Mike is a helper. That man is just making such a positive impact on society. And also just goes to show you, be careful of your preconceived notions. Quick, like, Killer Mike. Like, no, yeah, you know what he's doing? He's killing negativity and evil and bringing about love. We love
Thank
that.
you. Woo! I love it. Absolutely. I love it. Now, when is this event in Atlanta?
So that's going to be. Sorry, I'm getting a little warm, so I'm turning up my air over there. Oh, but look
Yeah,
at I got a little rouge on. Lovely.
What blossoming?
I just put that one. Woo! So,
That was it. That was a good flip it, baby. All the time. Whatever it looks like, flip it.
we are doing something. It's going to be actually later. We're not in September yet. Yeah, it's going to be towards the end of September. So it's working with the mayor's office has an initiative like I Am Atlanta, I believe is what it's called. And so we're going to do some community art project and community art action. Sean Lorraine, do you remember going to the Windows office and seeing that big old tree on the wall?
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to make a tree. with some folks there. And so if folks are interested, feel free to email info@awbw.org. That stands for windowbetweenworlds.org. So info@awbw.org. Just be like, what's your Atlanta thing? And we'll connect you to Martine. Shout out to Martine. She was maybe going to watch this evening and make some wonderful cookies. She is located in Atlanta. She's fabulous. And reach out to her and see about getting involved, because absolutely she is a mover and a shaker. And so we are doing some things in Atlanta.
Oh, I love it. So, Tasha, I hope you got that. What is it? info@awbw.org.
Yep, .org. And that'll take you to, and then just email, just say I'm interested in that. And then what we'll do is we'll field that and then put that over to Martine, who is, she is symphony conducting all of the fabulous.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I do. Oh my gosh. So, ditto, Connie, must re-listen. Okay, Gwendolyn. Mm-hmm. It's just a ball of fire. Joe. She so is. And Tracy. Now, this is Spa Tracy.
Oh.
We're going to have to bring Christy over to the spa.
Yes.
So, Tracy is the owner and operator of the Relax Spa, located in Burbank, California. And listen, girl, I was trying to get a facial before I have surgery. Looks like that might be another reason, because the nails are ready to be done and I need to get my facial on. So I will be calling you to get myself scheduled in there. They have wonderful things going on over there. Tracy has some amazing, first of all, she has some great practitioners there. The spa is very beautiful. It relaxes, smells good, easy location, great parking. And they were doing this whole body, write it in there, Tracy, because I don't want to mess it up. They were doing some whole thing with your body, right? So I went over there as a guinea pig, right? I'm a model. So I went over there and got myself kind of etched away over there, and it was quite fabulous indeed. And so I'm gonna, once I am done all this stuff I got to do, I'm gonna be going back over there on a regular basis, because it's also detoxifying.
Absolutely. Yes. You got that's that whole thing, right? Like, it's like we take in a large volume of things, we are energetic beings. We are connected to nature. We are connected to one another, and we get a lot of energy in, and we need to keep that energy moving. And so whatever we can do to keep it moving, absolutely. And massage and spas. And actually, I'm all about doing my nails too. Shout out to my friend Cascade, who was on here earlier, who connected me, because I love it. Isn't that beautiful? But also, especially when you're getting your nails done, you're connecting with someone, like you're holding hand. There's like that
it's so beautiful. I love that.
Positive touch, positive non-sexual touch. Very, very important. We get a lot of, touch that has other connotations to it. So that positive non-sexual touch, particularly for folks such as myself that is a sexual assault survivor, very, very important, because it can have some connotations there, and so it's just so darn important. And what you were saying about the self-care, absolutely, movement, and also I'm blessed to be able to get to the ocean. So getting in nature, there is nothing for me better than getting up in nature. And even if it's just standing on the grass and putting my feet on the grass, like and that's part of the kind of, I think that's part of why we as the human species are like having all of this, like, I believe that this is an evolution that we're going through, and this is all the muck that needs to come up so like the lotus flower can grow. But I think the muck is us not being as connected to nature. We were not meant to be in these concrete jungles in this way.
Yes, absolutely. And that, I'm so glad you said that, because that reminds me of one of my other favorite trainings, and that's the Lotus Flower.
Yes.
I do that with the girls at the group home. So anybody out there, this is a quiz. Who knows what the Lotus Flower represents? I'm going to give you ding, 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 ding. Jeopardy song. Ding, ding, ding. Sing it, somebody. But you know what I mean. This workshop was also very powerful for me, because I loved, the idea that the Lotus Flower is born in the muck and the mire, underwater, and it has to fight its way through the muck and the mire and the ick and the yuck, and then it blossoms into this beautiful specimen.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to tell my girls. I know you've been through some stuff. I know it was not easy, but it does not define you.
Yes.
You were You were under this muck and mire, but guess what's on the other side? Come on, babies, let's get through this mud. Let's do it. Let's do it. And I so love that. I love that so much.
Yes, no mud, no lotus. Mm-hmm.
Hello, somebody.
No rain, no rainbow.
There we go. There we go.
Yep.
Now, this is a treat. Hello, Penny. Hey, Sean, just tuning in. Love your guest.
Hey.
Yes. Now, Penny is a childhood friend in Secor Gardens. We grew up together from, I think, like junior high. Yes. And then the thing is that we learned once we met that she and I had friends, because she had apparently grew up where my grandmother was. We had met over there, but she knew some of my dear childhood friends from over there that I've known from like the sandbox.
Yes.
So thank you for tuning in, Penny. And Penny was an amazing basketball player and just amazing, just a beautiful soul and spirit, and gorgeous, by the way, with beautiful natural curly hair and everything. And then she turned into a mommy and all of that responsible stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Tell some more folks every Wednesday at 9:00 y'all time. Let's see what we got. Tiffany Lauderdale. Hello, beautiful. Are you still doing the lipstick thing? I actually, let me see. And this is so great.
Oh, hey.
That's from Tiffany. Ever so. It was called EINNAF. NF, I forget. So love you, girl. Joy is our birthright. Absolutely. Oh, y'all are on fire tonight. I so love it. Yes. Tell the story. Sean, I cherish those gifts. A sign from God to go forth. Yes. Go forth and prosper. Go back. I love it. Yes, Tiffany. Oh my gosh, Christy. We all started off with that challenge in MSA Academy. However, we mastered that thing in the end. Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
I had somebody tell me what I had a personal hurt degree. I got a PhD, a personal hurt degree.
I love it. I love that. Hey, look, I wish you had told me that before I started this other thing.
I was getting your doctorate, but you are the exact example of, if you want something done, ask someone busy. I mean, it's like the what you juggle every day is just incredible. But also, right, it's just you get those signs from the universe and God, universe, that you're going down the right path, and like all of these wonderful things that you're doing and things you're making happen, and the mentorship and all that, like that's just all the universe and God being like, you go, Sean LeRae. You are doing what you were meant to do while you're here, and who knows how long we get to be here, right? Like, you're beloved, right? And so let's do what we can while we're here.
While we're here, that's right. And Christy, for me, like it's people are like, you don't need to be a doctor and all this. I'm like, well, wait a minute, whose life is it anyway? But it's a personal goal. I was 50 years old when I became a therapist. And, so I figure at 62, I can do my doctorate if I want to. So there you go.
Right.
And I'll be 102 when I graduate, and that will be okay.
Yep.
Look, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. But I actually, and I love that you said that, you have to listen and follow. And because I had to listen and take a break. Because I didn't listen. And I thought, okay, my husband, as you well know, my sweet, sweet William Joseph, passed on February 2nd of 2021. I went back to school April 1st. We did not even have his service until April 21st. So I went back trying to finish the class that I withdrew from when I got COVID. We both got it. And then I was also trying to take the next class. Well, by June, I was upside down in just everything. I was like, this I can't. And I had to withdraw. And so I took almost a year from June to April, and just practiced some real life self-care, slow downness, chillness, like all of that. And I started back at April 7th of this year. I have I have just fought, kicked, and screamed with them because they told me that I was going to have to withdraw because there was a class, the class that I had taken it as many times as I could, and I failed it. And I'm like, failed it? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They said I failed the last class, and I absolutely, I was like, no, I got an A. I got an A. What are you talking about? I know I got an A. I saw it right there. And of course I didn't take a picture of it. I take pictures now, but I didn't take a picture of it. And then I put in an appeal, and I talked about how I lost my husband and this, that, and all of the truth. And they sent me a packed letter saying, sucks to be you, pretty much. And so I said, oh, no, not this girl.
Yeah.
I was like, who do I, because I will call the president, so don't play with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they said, oh, okay, made a mistake. You don't have to withdraw, but you have to go somewhere else and take that class again. I was like, no, because I did not fail that class.
Yeah, you got an A in the darn class.
And then miraculously,
Mm-hmm.
I go on the internet on my little thingy, and there it says A. Nobody wrote me and apologized to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I told the counselor the other day, I'm going to need an apology.
Good on you.
I'm going to need an apology because this is a Christian university, hello somebody, with no grace. Amazing grace.
That's the thing, right? It's like, humans, that's part of being human, is being fallible. And so when there's humans that are in charge of these institutions, and also chances are they're treating you like that. They don't treat themselves very kindly. But they're bleeding all over because they haven't done their own work.
And nobody ever looks at that, Christy. I'm so glad you said that.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever looks at that.
No, and especially like the abuse, it's staggering. Like for students, I have a friend of mine who supports student athletes who have been victimized. It's unbelievable, like how much. But that's just it's folks, with that power over, and it manifests in a million different ways. And folks that are in positional power that have not done their own healing work and have been victimized, they'll victimize other folks, and it's like keeping that cycle of hurt going. And that's why we are here, because we are here to interrupt and disrupt that cycle.
Yes.
And build new neural pathways and that fabulous neuroplasticity, and reconnect to our birthright of joy, and reconnect to all that we are. So when I was thinking about like what art I might want to show you, I kept going back and forth. And one of the things that I love, so a lot of our art workshops focus around, okay, where are you now and where do you want to go? And so Journey Footprints is one of them. And this is one of my Journey Footprints. And it's, moving away from self-judgment. So the judge, I am actively firing the judge in my head, judging myself, judging others. I am moving away from being disconnected to the real, true, authentic me, all that I am, my spirit, source, energy self, myself having a human experience, all of me, all that I am. Yes. And just moving away from abuse and assault and depression and all that, and then moving towards healing, light, joy, fun, connecting to myself and others, connecting to my self-worth, and surfing the wave of life. And I like to think of it as like, like that, just like, hey, the world is going to give us those waves. And so, I'm just going to see that wave come in and be like, okay, I'm going to surf you wave. I see you wave.
Come on, let's navigate it.
Yes. The workshops give us those tools to do it, and those reminders that we can.
Yes. Well, Christy, we are officially at 7:42, which I love it. I love it all. Everyone loves you, and they all want to connect with you.
And I love them too, and I want to connect with all of you.
As I sweep my face, because it's a little warm over here under these lights.
Yeah.
Great brush, by the way, ladies. So
beauty on all forms, inner beauty, outer beauty, we support all of it.
All of it. We got to do it all. That's right. And you know what, Christy, I would suffice to say that you have heard in your life that that girl got a lot of energy.
Yes,
I have been hearing that since I was born. And thing, you know what it turns out to be part of it? I got good old ADHD. Now, I discovered this as a grown adult trying to do a doctorate, right? But now that I know this, I embrace it and call it my superpower. Because the truth about it is that I still, at 62, have more energy than any 62-year-old on the planet.
Yes.
I just am in full gratitude for that.
Yes.
Because with all that energy, I am still living. Life on Full Tilt Boogie.
Oh,
So
yes.
funny. Yes,
All
you thanks for the reminder about joy. I love positive people. It makes the world a better place. Absolutely. Yes. So she's agreeing with something we said. Love you. You are welcome. So are you. Ah, beautiful. Who's that? Oh my gosh. Trevor. Oh my gosh. Singletary. Another childhood friend, y'all.
Ah, yay.
School, I don't think, but we lived in the same neighborhood. We were all up at the same school, looking at the boys, and at the same store, trying to get some, bubble gum and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is so great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please tell more folks in Toledo, Ohio, to join us on Wednesdays at 9 o'clock y'all time. Let's do what we can while we're here. Yes.
Yes.
We're going to wind it down.
Every day is a gift. That's why we call it the present.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what did she say here? She's glad that you were able to take some time. Absolutely. And Connie, you are right on point. Oh, I love this. I love when my audience is connected. So beautiful. So proud you incorporated the waves. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's that the vibrations, right? We put out those positive things and it's just the reverberatory effects. Ooh, it's fabulous.
Absolutely. And you know what? I love the metaphors that you make. They're so beautiful and so picturesque. You know, it's like, ooh, now I ain't never surfed and ain't never gonna surf. But I get it.
Me neither, but I've been hit with some waves in life. I'm sure you. Yeah, you were just talking about those administrators at the school, and you know what? You were like, "Oh, I see you wave, and I'm going to surf that."
That's right, baby.
And you surfed that wave beautifully, landed on the sand with your A in hand, and said, "What the class is next?" Boom,
boom. Thank you very much. Indeed. Well, Christy, we're going to wind it down. But Jarlene, thank you so much for agreeing to this and for rolling with us, sister. Like I said earlier, because we were supposed to do this like last week and some weeks before, but here we are because timing is everything and it's not ours.
And it was meant to be. It was meant to be.
Yes. Yes. Maybe all these people were not free last week. Hello.
There we go. There we go. There was divine wisdom there, and it will be revealed. And even if it doesn't, we just know that it's there.
Absolutely.
And I just want to leave by just saying, I just so love and appreciate you, Shauna LeRae. You are an amazing light bringer. You are such a wonderful personification of all that is good and wonderful in this world. And I am blessed to be connected to you. So grateful. I will say ... to be continued.
Right.
And I will just invite everybody, I really encourage everybody just to know, may you know deep in your being that you are love and you are loved. You are a love being. You are a divine love being of light, and you're loved.
Ooh, thank you, Christy. I was going to ask you to, what do you want to leave with the people? Leave the people with. And you did. Thank you. That's so beautiful. One more time. Yes. I never get this right. There we go. What? Please give the information for our Georgia folks who want to get involved in the Atlanta situation. So give that again. It's email. Go ahead.
Info, so info at AWBW.org. And so that's where you can get, you can email. That's just our general email address. And so just email and let us and say, hey, I want to get involved in the Atlanta thing. And we can connect you with Martine, who's symphony conducting that fabulous project that we're doing. But also I will invite anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a service provider, if you are just a community member, maybe you're just a person that's like, I want to do some art for myself and maybe I'll do it with some other people. We have tools. So if you go to AWBW.org, you can find free workshop worksheets that you can download, different ones like this that you can just do on your own. Art is a wonderful way to practice self-care, to combat vicarious trauma, and just to, be that change that we want to see in the world. It's fabulous. So I invite folks, go to our website. If you want to go to the specific area about trainings, go to AWBW.org/trainings. And you can find some information about our trainings. If you folks ask me all the time, do I need to have a certain type of educational background to come to your training? Do I need to have a certain job? You know what you need to have? A heart to want to do art. That's it. You can't spell heart without art. You can't spell earth without art. It is all connected, and it is.
Ooh,
So come check out the website, check us out. You can email, you can reach me at trainings at
Okay, wait. I'm going to type it all in. So it's awbw.org.
Yeah, .org. Yep.
That's for regular, for just to touch
Just
the
the
website.
website.
Okay,
So
and then
email me. You can reach me at trainings. So TRAININGS at AWBW.org. And then you just email there, and that'll reach Kat and I. Kat's the wonderful person that I work with. She's fabulous. And just let us know that you're interested, and we'll make sure to send you information, because that's really that's what we're here for. We are all about making healing art workshops accessible and affordable, and giving folks the tool in their tool belt so that they can bring out creative expression to support themselves, to support their community members, their family members, the folks they work with, the folks they serve, everybody. Like we aren't stopping until we are all well and healed. And then even after that, we're going to make art to celebrate where we're at. So come on down.
It's a party, y'all. It is a whole party. CB says, oh, wait. Trevor says, Triple R, remind me how to say your name. Or I guess you can't tell me, but phonetically put it in there for me, please. Let's see. CB says, she says she loves the energy. Thank you, darling. Great job, both of you. Thank you. Absolutely. Oops, I missed that one. Penny says, yes, she is. Thank you both. Enjoyed your program so very much. Love. And husband said, what a wonderful conversation. Well, thank you, Mr. Rials. He's a handsome rascal, too. I saw the
he is his little fabulous self.
Picture. Treba. That's it. Treba. That's how you say it.
Oh, what a beautiful name. I love a tree. Like, ooh, they are amazing. And they're like us humans. We're all connected. You just can't tell because the roots are below the earth.
There you go. I love it. And for info on the ATL event, info at awbw.org. For the website, www.awbw.org. And to reach Christy or Kat, trainings at awbw.org. And y'all, the same link that you used to watch tonight will always be here, especially if you're on YouTube. If you're on my Facebook, just scroll down till you get to it. And thank you so much for joining. We love you all. And another great show in the bag, baby. You're awesome, Christy. Thank you so much. I adore you. And I can't wait for us to keep doing some stuff. And so join us next week. I was kind of up in the air previously because I was having surgery tomorrow, but that ain't happening.
Yep.
So we will be here on the 31st doing this whole thing. And I think we're going to have some authors from another book anthology. And y'all usually love those because these women share some powerful bursts and gems. So Christy, you stay with me.
Yep.
The rest of y'all, we're going to see you next week. And I appreciate and love you. And as Christy said, please spread your light and love in this world. It is your JOB. Remember, this is Boss Talk with Sean LeRae. And that's bold, one of a kind, sensational superstars. And that's you. I love y'all. Live loved. And shalom, y'all. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.